Welcome to the Geostrategic Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. Thank you for joining us as we dive into a truly pivotal defense acquisition. Thailand just made a move that no one in Southeast Asia saw coming, and it could reshape the region's entire security balance. By deploying the Israeli-made BARAK MX, one of the world's most advanced air defense systems, Thailand just sent a powerful message across Asia, and the reaction's already begun. In the next few minutes, we're breaking down what this means for Thailand, for ASEAN, and for every nation watching the Indo-Pacific tension rise. If you love staying ahead of global defense moves, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I want to hear from you. Is Thailand's BARAK MX a strategic masterstroke or the start of a new arms race? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is your space to debate, challenge, and share your perspective. Let's get the conversation started. Okay, let's unpack this. We're not talking about some routine maintenance upgrade here. This is a $3.44 billion BARAK deal. That's about $107 million US dollars. And it's the Royal Thai Air Force's biggest modernization move in, over 2 decades.
It is. This is a massive shift. And it's not just about buying a new missile battery. It's a fundamental restructuring of their entire defense posture.
So what's the driver? Why make such an expensive, high-profile move right now?
The urgency is what's almost existential. It's being driven by a really rapid shift in the regional threat landscape.
Hello?
For years, Thailand has relied on these legacy systems, things like the American-made HWK or the Chinese KS-1A.
So Cold War era technology, basically.
Yeah.
Designed for a different time.
Exactly. They were built to take on single high-flying aircraft. That was the threat back then.
And today, it's completely different.
Completely. Today, the threat is all about saturation attacks. You have to think swarms of cheap, fast drones.
Right.
Mixed with cruise missiles, maybe some advanced fighter jets, all coming in at different speeds, different altitudes, all at the same time.
And the old systems just can't cope.
They can't. They lack the sensor agility and the processing power to track and prioritize hundreds of targets at once. They simply get overwhelmed. Or, more accurately, they go blind.
And I imagine their fighter fleet, the F-16s, the Gripens, they can't do it all on their own.
No, you can't rely solely on interceptors when you're facing sophisticated missile salvos. It's just not enough.
And these threats aren't just theoretical, right? They're right on Thailand's borders.
Precisely. We're seeing 3 really clear drivers. First, there's the internal issue, the long-running insurgency in the south.
Yeah.
They're now using commercial and military drones pretty heavily, which is forcing Thailand to plug these critical gaps in their low-altitude air defense.
And then there's Myanmar.
Yes, the civil war next door. That's led to frequent air incursions, drones, even helicopters straying into Thai airspace. It's an unstable situation that requires a really reliable instant response capability.
And then the macro picture, the big one, the rising tension across the whole Indo-Pacific.
That's the real strategic driver. You've got superpower tensions escalating, especially around the South China Sea.
And Thailand's exclusive economic zone overlaps with some of those disputed claims.
It does. So they need stronger long-range air protection for their offshore assets, for their shipping lanes. And critically, regional powers now have long-range ballistic and cruise missiles.
Missiles that can strike deep into Thai territory.
Exactly. They need something that can reach out and stop those threats far away from Bangkok.
Which brings us to the centerpiece, the BARAK MX. This is where it gets really interesting. It's rated as one of the world's most advanced systems.
Yeah.
What does it actually deliver that the older platforms couldn't?
Its main advantage really comes down to 2 words: modularity and network centricity.
Okay.
The BARAK MX wasn't designed as some fixed, static defense system. It's a flexible framework built to defeat that huge spectrum of modern threats we just talked about.
You said modularity. That sounds like a perfect fit for their new doctrine.
It is. Thailand's adopted what they call an integrated air defense system, or IAID.
IAIDs. So what is that in simple terms?
Think of it like creating one giant digital defense bubble over the whole country. It links all their radar, their command and control nodes, the C2 nodes, and their interceptor batteries into a single real-time ecosystem.
And the BARAK MX plugs right into that.
It's engineered specifically for it. It gives them that scalability, that plug-and-play connectivity they need.
Can you just simplify what those C2 nodes are doing in this system? The brain, so to speak.
Certainly. If the radar is the eyes, the C2 node is absolutely the brain. It takes all the data from multiple sensors, say a ground radar, a ship's radar, and the BARAK's own radar, and it merges it all.
And then it decides what to shoot.
It identifies the threats and instantly calculates which missile battery is in the best position to intercept. It's what stops 2 launchers from wasting missiles on the same target. That speed is vital against a swarm.
Okay, let's get into the missiles themselves. I understand there are 3 layers of protection from one launcher.
That's right. It's a family of 3 different interceptors. That's what gives it that layered defense.
That's our first layer.
The shortest range is the MRAD BARAK. That's good for up to 35 kilometers. It's the workhorse for things like fighter jets, helicopters, guided bombs, the immediate close-in threats.
And the next one out.
That's the LRAD BARAK. It extends the reach out to 70 kilometers, and it uses a dual-pulse rocket motor.
Wait, dual pulse. What's the significance of that for our listeners? Why is that a key feature?
That's an excellent point. A standard rocket motor just burns once. A dual-pulse motor can fire, shut off, and then fire a second pulse late in its flight.
Ah, so it can maneuver right at the end.
Exactly. It allows for aggressive maneuvering in that final terminal phase. It makes it devastatingly effective against agile targets like a cruise missile trying to evade.
And then there's the long-range deterrent.
The BARAK ER, that's the heavy lifter. It uses a big booster to push the range all the way out to 150 kilometers.
And that's for the high-altitude ballistic missile threats?
Yes. And strategically, those 150 kilometers are crucial. It's how you protect high-value targets deep inside the country, creating this huge defensive perimeter.
But all of this hinges on being able to track everything at once. That must require some seriously advanced radar.
It does. The eye of the system is a multifunctional ASA radar-active, electronically scanned array.
And that's a huge technological leap from their old systems.
Oh, enormous. An ASA radar can steer its beam electronically without physically moving. It can create multiple beams at once, letting it track over 500 targets.
500.
Simultaneously, while it's also directing outgoing missiles. It's like going from watching one TV screen to watching 500 at the same time and deciding which one is the most dangerous.
And the 360-degree vertical launch. In Thailand's context with threats from multiple directions, that seems essential.
It's absolutely critical. An old system might only protect a 90-degree arc. The BARAK MX launches vertically, giving it instant 360-degree protection. No blind spots.
So the capability on paper is one thing, but the reputation of this system really took off after its performance in, well, a very real conflict. We have to talk about the proof point that likely sealed this deal for Thailand.
Right, you're talking about Operation Rising Lion in June of 2025. This event was just an unprecedented test of air defense capability.
Operating under extreme saturation, the kind of worst-case scenario people worry about in the Indo-Pacific.
Exactly. Give a sense of the scale of that operation. The scale was staggering. The BARAK MX was a central part of Israel's defense against Iran's largest ever air attack. We're talking over 550 ballistic missiles and more than 1,000 drones and loitering munitions.
All launched in coordinated waves.
Right.
That's not just a technical challenge, that's a logistical nightmare.
It is. And the system proved its reliability under pure chaos. The sources really emphasize the speed and accuracy needed, and there are reports, detailed reports of one instance.
Yeah.
During the heaviest part of the attack, where the BARAK MX successfully intercepted dozens of advanced high-speed hypersonic missiles in just a 4-minute span.
And shooting down hypersonic missiles in that kind of saturated environment, that's a technological guarantee. So why is that specific performance so important for Bangkok?
It basically eliminates the procurement risk for them. It's a guarantee that the system they just bought is battle-hardened against the exact threats. Drone swarms, advanced missiles that are proliferating across their region. The lessons from Rising Lion are directly applicable.
So what does this all mean for Thailand's place in the world? This feels like it goes way beyond just upgrading defenses.
Oh, it does. This is where the geostrategic implications become really profound. This strengthens Bangkok's profile to that of a mid-power nation that's actively pursuing strategic autonomy.
And you can see that in how they made the choice.
Absolutely. The key here is diversification. They didn't just passively accept a system from the US or China. They evaluated American and European systems, but they chose the Israeli platform based purely on performance and integration.
That choice itself sends a message, doesn't it? Prioritizing efficiency over, say, traditional geopolitical loyalty.
It's a huge message. It reduces their reliance on any single power bloc and preserves their freedom of action in an increasingly polarized region. It shows their main driver is national security capability, not alignment.
And this isn't just an isolated purchase. It's the core of their bigger defense plan.
It's the absolute core of their 10 billion plus BAT IADS plan. And it's not just theory. They're deploying it to cover key national assets.
Like what?
The air bases at Don Muang and Utapao, the government complex in Bangkok, and critically, the industrial zones of the Eastern Economic Corridor. They're hardening the industrial heart of the nation.
Let's talk about the technology transfer component. The sources frame that as a real game changer for Thai autonomy.
It's quite unusual, especially with technology this cutting edge. The deal includes a substantial agreement to let the Institute of Defense Technology and Thai experts handle local maintenance, testing, and even future upgrades.
So why is that so critical? Why not just relying on the manufacturer?
Because dependency erodes autonomy. If you're totally dependent on foreign technicians, any diplomatic disagreement can immediately ground your systems.
Sure.
By gaining local capability, Thailand drastically reduces that long-term dependence. It shifts them from being just a buyer to an active partner. It really cements that middle power posture.
Let me just pose a challenge here. A 150-kilometer range system, as capable as it is, isn't going to fundamentally deter a superpower in the South China Sea. Isn't this move more defensive and localized?
That's a necessary perspective. It is a strategic shield, not a sword. Its purpose is national resilience, not power projection.
Okay.
But it achieves deterrence by denial. It tells any potential aggressor that a missile attack on Thailand's core assets is now prohibitively expensive and very unlikely to succeed. And that defensive certainty provides its own kind of strategic stability.
So let's shift to the ripple effect. Thailand is now the first ASEAN member to operate the BARAK MX. What does that do for the region?
It sets a new strategic benchmark. It forces other nations in ASEAN, Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines to reevaluate their own air defense.
So countries that might have been comfortable with older systems now have a wealthy neighbor with next-level capability. Yeah, that sounds like pressure.
It absolutely creates competitive pressure. Whether it triggers an actual arms race remains to be seen, but it certainly pushes other major ASEAN economies to modernize.
And we shouldn't overlook the Israel-Thailand partnership here.
Not at all. That relationship goes back to the 1950s, and this strengthens it immensely. Israel sees Thailand as a neutral, stable partner.
Which means they can get this tech without the political strings that might come from the U.S. or China.
Precisely. This provides a new model for ASEAN defense procurement. It's a shift toward choosing systems based on proven capability and technological autonomy, not just diplomatic ties.
This investment is clearly a strategic decision then. It's about forming a resilient national air defense framework and positioning Thailand as a regional air defense leader for the next decade.
It's a generational leap, no question. Which brings up a final thought. Given that the BARAK MX system was selected over established U.S. and European competitors, how might this procurement influence Thailand's long-term diplomatic and trade relationships with those Western powers as geopolitical tensions in the Indo-Pacific continue to climb?
A fascinating question to ponder. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Thailand's strategic shield. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on global defense and geopolitics, make sure to check out our other deep dives. We'll see you next time.
If you found this discussion valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to the Geostrategic Podcast for more in-depth analysis on topics that shape our world. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay tuned for the next episode. See you in the next one.